Hi, welcome to Module 4 Advanced Design Studio 4. Dr. Margaret T. Conkle, Radford University. Student Raymond MacDonald, Spring Semester 2023. Thanks. After the pandemic started in 2019 and early 2020, the Paul Reed Smith Guitar Factory stayed open as long as possible. At one point, they were certain they wouldn't need to close at all, but as panic grew along with the death toll, management was forced to close shop. Strangely, people staying home caused a surge in hobbies, and guitar playing gained in popularity during the peak of the pandemic. Paul Reed Smith guitars are backordered for years, and stopping production, along with increasing sales, meant that creative solutions were needed when the guitar factory reopened. Invitations were sent to assemble a dream team. Marion Edith, video editor and producer, George Fox, multimedia producer, and Angus Andrew, luthier. George was off-site on Zoom, and Angus and Marion were both on-site. So demand for guitars was way up at the same time that they had to stop producing guitars. Board of directors decided, hey, we need to get together and figure out what are we going to do about all this. Typical management type problem with the human centric employee problems of how do we keep everybody happy and make sure that the products are the best they possibly can be, because these are known for being some of the best instruments in the world. You can't cut corners. The team sat down, my dream team, and broke the stakeholders into management, night shift, and day shift, and then created persona profiles based on each group. Then they storyboarded the situation out into the period after the pandemic when management was devising a second shift and retooling the layout of the factory to allow for a second shift, along with hiring the new workers and then bringing them on board. The Dream Team established the fact that this is sort of a continual loop because forcing the employees to produce more while asking them to make the highest quality standards can be a driver of stress and accidents that needs to be constantly reevaluated. So the storyboards came out with the appearance modeling, that the best look might be cartoons or stick figures so that it's funny. The color palette is factory specific to both safety and night tones, and the look is cheerful and or humorous. Um, so we've got the beginning, middle, and end of the story being that demand is up and we have a workplace problem that could result in lowering staff enthusiasm because demand is up and the capacity to increase is limited. Therefore, a lot of creative solutions need to work together to solve the problems at the Paul Reed Smith Guitar Factory. Um, in summary, my reflection, the problem of business, how we might develop a human centric environment approach in the workplace. The team for Module 4 was fortunate to have members who participated in this topic on the job at the Paul Reed Smith Guitar Factory in Stevensville. There has been a waiting list for guitars for over 2 years, When the pandemic closure started, PRS Guitars is one of the last workplaces to send workers home in 2020. The workspaces are open, well ventilated, and the product is in high demand. The capacity to manufacture is limited. With the squeeze on, Paul Reed was closed for safety reluctantly. When workers were allowed to return, management found that staying home had increased demand for high quality instruments. Not only were production goals missed for months, but online orders had continued to pour into the sales department. Creative solutions needed to be designed, and PRS management quickly rolled out the idea of a night shift. Workers, luthiers are hard to find, and a salary increase was required. Craftspeople who volunteered for night shift also received another level of compensation for the inconvenience to their schedules. The team discussed in the meetings how the creation of the night shift drove PRS to add safety officers and more ergonomic workspaces. Despite the low impact work, the repetition and posture sometimes required lead to workplace strain and injury. Power tools and dangerous procedures were also identified and continued to be monitored. Through the methods and modules, the team identified that it is important for the relationships leadership to monitor safety and employee performance as integral and connected continually, pushing employees' performance while monitoring standards that produce the highest quality instruments. Maintaining safety for workers is not a once and done problem. Instead, management must constantly evaluate each while maintaining a work life balance, livable wages, and a safe environment for all employees. Angus, as a safety officer on the night shift at PRS, added that recent discussions now include the threat of workplace violence and shootings, a sign of the times, an overreaction, or a critical addition in the design of everyday things. We learned that historically factories had increased production by showing that they cared about their employees. So, whether there is a threat of violence or not, adding it to the safety procedures, management shows they care and is reassuring the staff, and it helps when people show that they care. I've got a simple bibliography, and I'm turning in final notes as a cited document at Microsoft Word. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.